worldwide and national news. All right, all right, all right. If you're just coming in and you're like, who the hell is this heifer? Well, I am Princess AV. That's who I am. And you are watching 50/50 News. And if you have not taken the time to like and subscribe, please do. Okay. Like the video. Okay. Subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 10,000. It doesn't cost you anything. You could subscribe and become a loyal, a royal citizen. And if you join the channel and hit that join button right down there, and it is in the description box, the link is you can become a legal card carrying royal citizen. It is I'm just tongue tied today. It is benefits to your membership. Also, I do ask that you be benevolent on today. Send me a cash out, send me a super chat, a Venmo, and or a PayPal. And Zelle too. I accept all forms of payment. Or if you would like to support my store, Royalty Beauty Brands, you can go get you some bundles, go get you some eyelashes, or go get you some good great lip gloss by Young Bella. And I don't have any just right next to me outside of some samples. And that ain't gonna help you none. You want to see the good bottle with the wand. But all of that is in the chat. I know my moderators post up on a consistent basis. Please like the video, hit the notification bell, and you can know when I am live all the time, because I do run my channel like a channel. There is an array of programming here for everybody. Also, my other channel that's getting a slow roll, Princess AV Tried It. Please go over there and subscribe as well. That's down in the description box. We do movie reviews, vlogs, lots of little videos I got to finish editing and put up there, fun stuff. And I'm actually, y'all, I might put a poll up. I heard from a few of my members, but I'm thinking about starting a third channel exclusively for my crafting instead of putting it on my second channel. So we got a little stuff going on. We do a lot of stuff here, and I'm looking forward to having a great year with y'all here. Let me see what you're saying. Hey, y'all that's coming in. Simply, let me see, did I miss anybody? And Candace, how y'all doing? Coming on in here, sitting by the water cooler. Okay. I thank you so much. Also, while it was on my mind, before I forget, and I'll probably say it later, 50/50 News is a very special project for me, but as is all things on my channel, but this is really special. If you feel to need that you want to use a story or my commentary, especially from the newscast, please just let me know. I'm not real hard ass on striking people, even though I will if you try me. But feel free to ask me. Just DM me or email me. And those are ways that you can contact me. Just DM me, email me, or hit me up on the community tab or something, or in YouTube, and I will answer. All I ask is that you ask me and that you cite your sources. That's all. So if you want to use something, just let a player know. So from that, we go to worldwide news. Okay. We're going to go with news all across the world and nationally. Our first news story is about President Biden, and America has invaded. Was it Turkey? I don't want to say the wrong thing because I don't want to fuck up the real news. But we have taken down the Islamic State president. He has been killed. And so there is an extensive story about it. If you guys don't know, about these things, and, us battling Al Qaeda, the Taliban, and different terrorist threats, apparently we've done something great again. Catch what I did with that. So here's the story given to you by ABC News Alive.
This morning speaking about the U.S. Special Operations raid that killed the leader of ISIS in Syria. He says during the mission, the target detonated an explosive, killing himself and members of his own family, but that the U.S. did everything possible to limit civilian casualties.
Thanks to the bravery of our troops, this horrible terrorist leader is no more. Our forces carried out the operation with their signature preparation and precision, and I directed the Department of Defense to take every precaution possible to minimize civilian casualties. Knowing that this terrorist had chosen to surround himself with families, including children.
Let's bring in White House correspondent Mary Alice Parks and former State Department official, Colonel Steve Ganyard, ABC News contributor, for more on this. Steve, we heard President Biden go over many of the atrocities that this leader was responsible for. How significant is his removal?
Yeah, Diane, ISIS has sort of been, hasn't been in the headlines lately, and Al-Qaeda certainly has been out of sight for quite a while. We still don't know where Zawahiri is, but if you listen to the Pentagon briefings in the past couple months, they've been very clear that ISIS remains a very potent threat, and that they are reorganizing and trying to rejuvenate the organization. And so to take out the leader is a big blow to that organization. Oftentimes it'll just be the next person up. But as the Israelis say with terrorists, it's sort of like mowing the lawn. You need to take out who you can, when you can, but you have to be prepared that the organization will eventually rejuvenate itself and there'll be somebody to pick up the mantle.
Mary Alice, what can you tell us about how this raid was planned and ultimately executed? It sounded like the president wanted to make very clear today that they did try to limit civilian casualties, despite the fact that it sounds like some were killed.
Diane, that's right. And that was exactly the message from senior administration officials that briefed reporters this morning. They said that they started planning this operation back in December, but that the president gave the green light on Tuesday in a conversation in the Oval Office, and then overnight was being briefed and getting real-time updates following along with his vice president and members of his national security team in the Situation Room. One bit of color, they said that when the operation was finally done, the president said, "God bless our troops," before going upstairs, and then received continued updates throughout the night from his national security advisor, Jake Sullivan. And you're right, this morning, the senior administration officials said exactly the same, that they took extreme measures to try to limit any civilian casualties. That's first reflected just in the fact that this was sort of a manned mission, that we put U.S. troops there in harm's way on the ground instead of carrying out a drone strike. But more than that, there was a conversation about how they worked to get civilians out of the first floor of this residential building. They knew the target was on the third floor, and they worked to clear those lower floors to try to get civilians out of the way. This is, again, according to the government officials, that they made loud, audible announcements in the area to try to get people to leave. That's pretty normal with a mission like this, but to, again, try to tell people what's going on, who might, to make sure that people are inadvertently sort of mixed up in this. And then they did a lot this morning to point the finger back at the target, to say that the civilian casualties that were caused there on the ground were the result of his actions, that he detonated an explosive, killing, they actually used the word murdering, his own family and other residents in the building, because the U.S. forces, according, again, to administration officials, were doing everything they could to limit civilian casualties.
And Steve, President Biden said that, quote, "This operation is a testament to America's reach and capability to take out terrorist threats, no matter where they try to hide, anywhere in the world." Do you think we can expect to see more operations like this one in the future?
Yeah, I think, Diane, if you think about it, this is very much like some of the other high-value targets that the Special Operations Command has taken out. Go back to the bin Laden raid. Remember that the bin Laden family was living in a multi-story building that looked very much like this one. Then remember Baghdadi, who was head of ISIS, was also caught in a building like this, and he too ended up blowing up innocent people. So maybe there was a realization that bin Laden got taken alive, or at least they entered the house in a way that Baghdadi and Qureshi didn't want to happen. But these kinds of raids, as Mary Alice alluded to, these kinds of raids take months to plan, because the U.S., frankly, the U.S. gets a lot of heat for civilian casualties. But I can assure you that at the military level, every effort is made to minimize civilian casualties. And so in this case, I would imagine that they would have wanted to get Al-Qureshi alive, just for the intelligence value. the fact that he blew himself up along with his family took out a treasure trove of intelligence that they could have gotten from him or from some of the computers that might have been around him. So it's these kinds of things are very, very tough. They take a long time. The intelligence takes a long time to develop. The U.S. Special Operations Command wants to be absolutely sure of the target being there and to minimize civilian casualties. But I think going forward, eventually, that unfortunately, that ISIS will rejuvenate in some capacity, and these kinds of raids will continue.
All right, Mary Alice Parks and Steve Ganyard, thank you both. We appreciate it.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the...
You know, I don't have a tendency to have a lot to say about these types of stories. We all know the government is watching and listening and thinking, but, you know, I found it funny. They talked about civilians. You know, y'all don't give a damn about the civilians. And I found it so interesting. Like, them people, they don't give a fuck. They will kill, they will shoot up their own family. They blew up themselves. They blew up their family. Like, they really stand for their cause, okay? And by any means necessary. And I find that very interesting. I wonder what comes from this. And, you know, of course, Al-Qaeda is a very powerful organization. I just found it interesting but I wanted those of y'all who are not in tune what's going on in our world today, that you really know what's going on, that you are somewhat in tune, because shit is fucked up out here. Okay, please don't think that us going over there is no repercussion, there is no fallout from that. Please be aware that everything that goes on, as they told you, they've been planning this for a while. Somebody been planning something for us for a while too. So just please stay cognizant of what's going on. And hey, Jay, go follow Jaded Nerd. Actually, he's affected my news today. He gave me a story to talk about today. So shouts out to the Wordsmith family. Go follow Jaded Nerd. And if you need to see it, you'll see it. That is his logo. He does commentary. And he has 2 channels. He also has his True Crimes channel. If True Crimes Fairy Tales channel, if you're not aware of that. He does all types of commentary, and he does great with his research and nostalgic commentary as well. So, and he drags for filth if you're entertained by that. But he's not gutter with it. That's what I love. And he drags with ethics and intelligence, okay? And that is why they are the Wordsmith family. If you ever thought that Candace, who says that she does well with her words, she would be no match for the Jaded Nerd and his family. So there you go with the snipes. So our next story is another scumbag who has been found. He has been responsible for the death of a 2-day-old baby and her mother. Now, this story, let me see, is brought to you. I forgot this down. Is this down in Texas or Arkansas? Somewhere down south. I'm sorry, I got to hear because there's a lot of stuff I forget. I was trying to say, I think this is KPRC if I'm not mistaken, but I don't know. In a hot second. So let's see.
And in other news tonight, we're learning new information about 25-year-old Brandon Isabel. The young father, Memphis police say, admitted to throwing his 2-day-old baby into the Mississippi River after killing her mother. Our WREG's Bria Jones joins us live with the latest in this investigation. Bria?
Stephanie, the TBI says the Amber Alert for 2-day-old Kennedy Hoyle is still active, despite her father now being charged in her murder. A gut-wrenching crime breaking hearts across the country. 25-year-old Brandon Isabel charged in the murders of his 2-day-old baby girl, Kennedy Hoyle, and her mother, 27-year-old Danielle Hoyle. Why would somebody want to hurt a baby? She precious. According to this affidavit, Isabel admitted to Memphis police that on February 1st, the night of his birthday, he lured the child's mother to Whitehaven and shot her in the head. He then told officers he took Kennedy to Mud Island and tossed her into the water. Investigators say Isabel also admitted to throwing the murder weapon in the Mississippi River and Wolf River Delta. Memphis police say the search for the baby has been suspended, telling WREG the department will monitor the weather and continue the search when we are able. We dropped by Cordova address where the victim's family and a police source says Isabel lives, but no one answered. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation background shows Isabel has no prior criminal history in the state. He's now facing multiple charges, including 2 counts of first-degree murder, especially aggravated kidnapping and tampering with evidence. The victim's family says they don't have answers, but believe this tragedy could be a result of a now fatal love triangle. Memphis police say they've interviewed other people, but no additional charges have been filed.
You didn't want to take care of your child. You didn't want to be in her life. You should have left her alone.
Isabel is being held without bond. He's due in court tomorrow. For now, reporting live in downtown Memphis, Bria Jones, WREG News, Channel 3.
And we'll be there to cover it as well. Bria, thanks.
This is Break.
So I was right there in that spot in Memphis when we went to visit in April. Thank you, Jaden. I was supposed to show some cleavage today. It didn't happen. But anywho, that I can't even call him a man. That disgusting piece of trash, you demonic piece of shit. You down in the gutter scoundrel. It's obvious that his mental health is severely altered, that he's not right in the head. It's obvious that he is riddled with demons. But I do hope that while you're in jail that you suffer just an unimaginable amount of suffering that you could ever do, not only by the demons in your head, but possibly by another cohort up in there. Okay, you deserve to be under the jail. You know, we talk about Black men and abandonment of our women and children, but I would rather your ass had done that and that woman had never seen you again so that she could be alive to raise her daughter and maybe found someone of some substance that would teach her how to pick better men, and somebody that would treat her right and treat her daughter right and love on her, because it's obviously that she had a family and somebody that loved her, but she made a mistake about loving and having sex with your decrepit ass. And you did on your birthday. You do that. To be so soulless, to throw a child in the water that didn't ask to be here, and nigga, you just could have put on a condom. I'm disgusted. Okay. Again, as usual, my heart goes out to the family too. My condolences. There's nothing he could ever do to repent or to atone for such a heinous crime as that, because you can't bring people back. What kind of hatred is in your heart? The fact that you took that baby and did that and you didn't feel nothing. Just nothing. Nothing. Disgusting ass scoundrel. And I'm curious as to what made him confess or how he got caught. That's interesting too. And that is a trigger warning. I'm sorry, I should have gave a trigger warning before I played that story. And you violated her in the face. That's hatred. And he probably has a disgusting hatred for his own self that would cause him to be so mean. Our next story gets a little bit lighter. It's about our soldiers. The soldiers who have decided against getting the jab. They are being dismissed by the U.S. Army. So let's see what this story is about over here in Sacramento.
This is breaking news on Morning Blend Extra Shot.
We continue to follow the breaking news this morning with details about the.
Oh, I'm sorry. I went out of order. I'm sorry. Okay. I done fucked up the thing. This is not quite lighter. It's a little bit lighter, but this is not the unvaccinated show. I was looking like, why is that coming up like that? There was an active shooter down to the Greyhound station in Oroville, California, and he was naked. Okay, so nobody even paid attention to this man walking up and down the street naked. Apparently, he had a mental health issue if you're gonna walk up and down the street naked. But he was shooting people. So this story is brought to you by Channel 10 News, Sacramento. Okay, let's try that again. We mess up sometimes because we lie.
The suspected shooter has been identified. 21-year-old Asadi Coleman from Sacramento. Authorities say the shooting unfolded last night on board a Greyhound bus after the suspect got a phone call which appeared to agitate him. They also say the suspect also became agitated because he believed one of the passengers on the bus was an undercover law enforcement officer. Here's what else we know. Victims include an 11-year-old girl and a 25-year-old pregnant woman. The person who died was a 43-year-old female. We also know that the suspect was not legally authorized to own a gun. Morning Blend Extra Shot continues. I'm Walt Gray. Thank you for joining us. We've been following developments with that shooting all morning long. ABC 10's Jay Kim is there live. Jay, you attended the 9 a.m. press conference. A lot of new information came out.
And that's right. Good morning, Walt. Well, that press conference wrapped up just a short time ago, and police described last night's shooting as a chaotic scene. And as you just mentioned, here's that new information that we've learned. The suspect who opened fire, killing one person and injuring 4 others, is 21-year-old Asadi Coleman. Police say he boarded the Greyhound bus in Reading by himself yesterday and started exhibiting paranoid and agitated behavior while having conversations with other passengers. They say he then showed some passengers a 9mm gun that he had in his bag, which he brought on board the bus, which they also say was illegally obtained. That bus eventually made a stop at the AM/PM store on Oroville Dam Boulevard and Feather River Boulevard, and as passengers were exiting, that's when Coleman started shooting at them. Coleman then ran about half a mile down the road to a nearby Walmart, where he became involved in another verbal altercation with a female who was shopping with her boyfriend, which then escalated to a physical fight before he went to another area of the store, stripping off his clothes before police took him into custody. Here's what we know about the victims. The person who was shot is 43 years old. Police still have yet to notify next of kin, so they aren't releasing an identity at this time. The other victims include a pregnant 25-year-old female who's now in critical condition, a 38-year-old male with a minor injury in good condition and expected to be released, and a 32-year-old male who was struck by multiple bullets who's in critical condition, and an 11-year-old that was transported to the hospital and is now in stable condition. Now this morning we saw another Greyhound bus pull up to that same AM/PM this morning and spoke to some passengers on board who say they were shocked to find out what had happened.
It's awful. People don't deserve that kind of stuff.
It's a crazy world, you know. So, you know, either people got some mental issues or some people just did some wrong, you know.
This is a horrific tragedy that was visited upon our community. Another tragedy that we're having to deal with and endure in this community. My heart goes out to all of the people that were on the bus, as well as the victims in this case.
Now, the coroner's office is trying to gather all the information necessary to file charges against Coleman. He's expected to make an appearance in Butte County Court tomorrow at 3 p.m. Of course, this is a developing situation and investigation. Stick with ABC 10 throughout the day for the very latest.
So, Jay, the bus was going to Los Angeles. Do we know anything more about the origin of this bus and its destination?
Yeah, as you mentioned, Walt, that bus was headed towards Los Angeles. They were just making a routine stop at that AM/PM in Oroville. That's a place where Greyhound buses regularly stop, and that's when this all unfolded. So just a tragic situation out there.
Indeed. Jay Kim, Oroville. Jay, thank you.
And this is new at 5. The U.S. Army announced.
Again, we're talking about people with mental illness. Someone has done him a disservice. He's only 21 years old, and he has now committed a crime that can potentially take away his life as well, because he has to, do time. People are injured, especially that pregnant woman. Anything can happen to her or her baby in this case. And I just wish that we would take mental health more seriously than what we do. Take care of our children more seriously than what we do. It's important. Pay attention to red flags and telltale signs. Like, that did not have to happen. And how do you get on there with all them weapons? I guess. Whatever. Deborah, welcome. Are you in the UK? I can't remember because you said it's late. It's 9 p.m. So if it's 2, you in the UK? I think you're in the UK. Yes. It's something that needs to be said about that. Just that whole situation. Where the hell was he going? Okay. So again, we're just gonna go right into the next story because I've already prefaced it. Again, this is about these soldiers being dismissed because they're unvaccinated.
And this is new at 5. The U.S. Army announcing today that any soldier who refuses to get vaccinated against COVID will be discharged. Army Secretary Christine Wormuth issuing a statement saying unvaccinated soldiers present risk to the force and jeopardize readiness. She says involuntary separation proceedings will immediately begin for any unvaccinated soldier who does not have an approved exemption or a pending request. The policy also applies to active duty reservists. Soldiers will not be eligible for involuntary separation pay.
The FBI has identified 6 persons of interest suspected of making bomb threats against historically black colleges.
I done fucked up the thing, okay? I was looking like, is it going? So my issue with this is choice. So some people, they go into the armed services because that is maybe a only means of a future for them. And I do realize that they are privy to, they're given vaccinations, a peanut butter shot, Agent Orange, all this stuff that they're putting in their system that they have no idea what it is, but they know coming in that this is what is needed in order to move forward. And now you're taking away the future, the opportunity, the education, the means of feeding people's family in the name of the jab. Excuse me. And so that's kind of a fucked up deal. It's fucked up. Some people that they may have been in there as careers, they just didn't sign on. So now, and not only are you giving them a discharge, some people, they're going to get a dishonorable discharge. That's not what they're saying. They're telling you they're giving them a dishonorable discharge because they decided to use their freedom that they tell us that we have. But they'll kill your ass, don't send you overseas and go send you to kill people. It's no problem. Next. Take you from your families and shit. Our next story, there was a bomb threat and an active bomb threat. February 1st, it's Black History Month. And they said, you niggers got to go. So that is our next story. You accidentally saw a little preview of it here on, it was this CNBC.
FBI has identified 6 persons of interest suspected of making bomb threats against historically black colleges and universities. Law enforcement officials tell NBC News all 6 are juveniles from around the country. The officials said they appear to be tech savvy because they use sophisticated ways of trying to disguise themselves. They say the threats appear to be racially motivated. Yesterday, the first day of Black History Month, more than a dozen HBCUs across the country received bomb threats, according to school officials and social media posts. The day before, at least 6 other schools faced threats. Campuses locking down for hours, classes moving online at some of the schools. The FBI says the investigation is of highest priority and that it involves 20 field offices.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC.
Yeah, so, they just want to kill us. We ain't done nothing to y'all. We didn't ask to be here. But you just want to kill us. You want to tell us to go back from whence we came. Well, I came out of my mother's vagina here at Chicago Osteopathic Hospital, which is no longer, if you're trying to look up, it don't even exist anymore, okay? Y'all and y'all fucked up way of thinking. These children are out here trying to get their motherfucking education. These are the people that are doing positive things in life and trying to be upstanding citizens, and you want to blow them up. They're not fucking with you. Ain't nobody fucking with you. You the asshole, okay? Apparently, you are the degenerate in this equation. I'm just saying. Next. Some more degenerates we're going to talk about. This is also a triggering warning. Okay, an Orlando couple decides to try and rob an old man of 78 years old, and he lost his life because y'all can't just go do right and get your own shit. I'm good and pissed off. I'm glad when I get done with this segment. This is the last story. Okay, let's see what they over here talking about. Okay, this is a Fox story. Okay, we love Fox around here sometimes. Fox 35. Let's see what they have. Did I do that right? Yeah, let's see what they're talking about. I'm not jabbed yet. The libertarians are saying that we have a right to say no. Well, you're supposed to. But, another conversation.
Good advice there. I want to show you this breaking overnight. 2 suspects accused of killing a 78-year-old man over the weekend. A high-profile case arrested. This was video tweeted out by the sheriff's office around 2:15 this morning, which is showing their perp walk. And Fox 35's Amanda McKenzie joins us outside the Orange County Jail this morning. Amanda, we're still working on how these suspects were tracked down, but we know the sheriff said they were not going to sleep until they were arrested.
That's right, and they certainly followed through with that promise, working day and night to track down those 2 suspects. And it was overnight that they were placed in handcuffs and arrested and then taken to jail. You can see in this video that's new from this morning, the suspects, Javon White and Jasmine Monroe, both are charged with first-degree murder and carjacking. They are accused of killing 78-year-old Yukon Cummings as he walked out of a CVS pharmacy on the corner of Powers and Silver Star Road on Sunday.
Mr. Cummings was returning to his vehicle when he was confronted by 2 individuals who shot him and took the keys to his vehicle.
Investigators say Cummings suffered 2 gunshot wounds before the suspects ran over him twice as they fled in his car. A brutal attack in broad daylight. The sheriff says his team worked the case around the clock, first finding the stolen car and now early this morning arresting the 2 suspected killers. We are working to find out when they plan to make their first appearance in court. Reporting live from the Orange County Jail, Amanda McKenzie, Fox 35 News.
Fuck these people. Did you hear, trigger warning again, did you hear them say that they ran over him multiple times? I don't know what's in the water. I don't know what we're eating. I don't know what some of you people are smoking. What's in the air? Of course, mental health is an issue. But the types of demons that these people deal with it's something to be said, okay? that they ran his ass over. Now, this man has been living 78 years on this earth, minding his own motherfucking business. Now, I don't know that man to say that he lived his life up and up, but I'm sure that maybe he didn't do nothing that heinous and that disgusting that he had to suffer it in his life like that. He got a family. And you wanted his car and a couple of dollars. You bitch, you. And y'all took that man's life for that. I am so disgusted today. I'm very disgusted at just the way people is living out here. It's really, really sad. We can't go to the store. Two stories of people in their golden years today just want to go to the store, minding their own motherfucking business, and somebody had to hurt them. When are we going to start taking our street back, our lives back? We have to do better. Hey, Jam, I just appreciate you being here. So, yes, that is the end of our world and national news. I want to thank all of y'all for being here.